Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Baptized and Clueless. I'm your host, Yusuf, with my co-host, Michelle. Michelle, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Awesome to hear. And my boy, another co-host, Wesley in the house. Wesley, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, Yusuf.
Good, good. Sorry, I feel bad now. I didn't hype Michelle up the same way. Wait.
I was actually gonna say I felt like I needed to just hype up right there.
Uh, Michelle in the house.
Yeah, Michelle
Woohoo,
down.
Michelle in the
Yeah,
house.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Wesley in the house.
Now we got that formality out of the way. Today we are discussing the lukewarm walk,
Mhm.
the wavering of Christianity. It's a topic that doesn't need to be overly studied because pretty much it's a walk every day, right?
Yeah.
Everyone makes a
Good point.
compromise in Christianity one way or another. As much as they don't think they do, they do.
The topic is literally like the basis of Baptized and Clueless.
It pretty much is.
Oh
It pretty
man.
much is.
Yeah.
But some of it though is because some people are clueless, definitely, and some people are just intentional. And intentionality is the
Right.
fact that they're
Right.
still following their flesh, even though they know better. It's hard to break
Exactly.
out.
Yeah.
And then there are those who
Mhm.
just decide not to tell themselves the truth as well, right? So self-conviction is not
Mm,
taking place. But
100.
we do have the issue of double-mindedness, lukewarm Christians. But I want to talk about the commitment to Christianity. I think Christians have a problem with commitment,
Mm.
and not in a negative, deceitful way, like intentional, super intentional, but it's just
Right.
it's a lot of breaking away of habits. There are habits that people have that's, they just realize that they didn't realize it before, but there's some habits they've been working on for the last 15, 20 years.
It's a complacency, it's a comfort zone.
It is. It is. Christianity. If Christianity was a color, it'd be gray.
Ouch. That's a
'Cause,
whole nother topic right
Yeah.
there.
because it's a lot of us, just in general, live in a gray area.
Yeah.
I know
Mhm.
people who are believers of Christ, but not followers of Christ. We know of people who um, can tell you the scriptures left, right, and center, and the life they're living has to be hidden because if anyone saw it, no one's going to follow Christianity.
And I'd actually take it further than just saying like believers and followers, and I'd actually counter it to say followers and those who are obedient, because many say they're willing
Obedience,
to
yeah.
follow, but they're not necessarily willing to comply to the obedience that is required.
It is truthful.
Mhm.
It is truthful. I mean, let's, even if we're not thinking about spirituality alone, let's just look at the fact of just being obedient.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing. Listen, I was lost, and I was thinking I'm going to join the army because of someone's foolish advice.
Oh no.
And I got there and I did the first testing, I think, and they're like,
Mhm.
okay, everything's cool, come back for so and so. And I thought, I was like, do I really want to have someone tell me what to do? Can I really handle it? I said, no, I can't handle that. And I ran because your boy's good at running. I ran. I said, no way. I said, no way. This guy's gonna be up in my face, just yelling. I said, nah. But for those who can and they handle that, they are a different set of people. And
Mm.
we have,
It's
oh
commitment.
yeah, commitment is not an issue for them in that sense. And they'll still have their struggles, of course. But like we have a brother in one of our groups, Michelle, and he's
Yeah.
currently, I believe it's the Army or it's the Air Force, one of the two.
Right.
And he's on that walk now. And yeah, his discipline is like showing so different. So that's not his
Wow.
fight necessarily. So it's, still getting through things. But for the rest of us who just have a hard time being obedient, it's been struggles
Yeah.
harder than some seasons, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Christian commitments is initially when I thought about this topic, I was like, oh yeah, let's go get him. But it's like, yeah, let's go get me.
You know what? That was the most appropriate
Yeah.
thing you could have possibly said. And it's not just a you
let
thing, it's like a us thing. It's
No,
a
it's an
we
us
thing.
thing.
Yeah, all three
Yeah,
of us,
yeah.
man.
Everyone who can wear the C in their chest,
Mhm.
right? Where no one's gonna be perfect, so that's the thing. And I guess even when I thought about this topic, it's like I'm forgetting the fact that no, if no one's gonna be perfect, then how else are they gonna walk?
Mm.
It's gonna
Yeah.
come with some stumbling. It's gonna come with some
Yeah.
contradictions. But we have to be aware that
Mhm.
our
Mhm.
contradictions just give leeway to onlookers, non-believers, people who considered it. It gives them leeway to be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
can do that in Christianity, then why would I need to change?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't want to
Mhm.
have that guilt on them.
That's true. That's true.
They don't. That's not right. Man, you know what? I hate it when we do these topics. It always starts off one way in my head. Yeah, but
What
there's this,
what
there's
did it
this, that.
what did it start off in your head looking like, and where do you see this going?
It went from go get 'em to simply, oh
To go
yeah,
get us.
remember all these things. Because I'm thinking about it too. Like the number one thing that Christians have a problem with
Yeah.
is the two things God asked for. And that second one, loving thy neighbor. We do a lot of
Mm.
things
Mhm.
outside of love.
Yes.
How we express our convictions that we have about something to other people. We turn our
Yeah.
convictions to their condemnation.
Wow.
We get on them so quick on something that we just like, oh, you shouldn't be listening to that, because we just
That's true.
realized the last 2 weeks that
Mhm.
the Holy Spirit said, yeah, it's time for you to put that down. And as
And
soon as
in
we
that
get told that, we go
same
running.
but in that same breath, we're telling them to behave a certain way, but we're not necessarily behaving that same way. But if we were being super like condemning to them, we can't even follow through on the conviction that
Mhm.
we're giving over
Yeah.
them.
Exactly. Your conviction's not to right someone else. Your conviction was for you.
Yeah.
And I'm only learning that this season. And this
I
is the
think
thing
I've
about
mentioned this before. I don't know if I've mentioned this on one of the podcasts before,
Mhm.
but my oldest daughter she just hit like
Oh,
18 last year, and so she started going to the young adult services
Okay.
at church.
Mhm.
And it was interesting to watch my daughter leave like the children's ministry, the youth ministry, and now head into the young adults ministry. Um, and she comes home and she's like, "Mom, there was a guy standing outside the church smoking a vape, or maybe he was smoking weed. I don't remember.
Mhm.
But the point is clearly something he shouldn't have been doing at church."
Right.
And I had to remind her, I'm like, "But he was there. He was
At
at
least.
church."
Mhm.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So we can condemn him, but if he's going to show up every single week smoking the weed that he's smoking, or the vape or whatever it was he was smoking
Mhm.
outside the church, if he shows up every single week for the next, say, 4, 5, 6 months, and then at the 7th month he stops
You
smoking
know.
it, but he's still coming,
Yeah.
what's the
Yeah.
problem?
Mhm.
This is it. It's our cultural stance.
I'm not agreeing with him doing it. I'm not saying what he's doing is correct, but like,
Mhm.
why are we judging someone who is still showing up and trying to
Yeah.
pursue God? There's so many people
Yeah.
who aren't even
Mhm.
trying to pursue
Mhm.
God.
Yeah,
A
because
whole lot of them.
we don't know his past life.
We don't know
No.
his life in any way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
Right.
Folks, what you're witnessing is the power of prayer. When you pray before you put on a podcast show, the Lord reveals things so differently. I
Mm.
mean, lukewarm walk is the misunderstanding of what Christ is doing in you, and you displaying it to the world in the manner He
Mhm.
never told you to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So as He corrects us, continue with the correction and learn the correction to a T as much as possible. Share with those, I guess, when the situation comes across or when He moves you to, but to go out there and to start wagging the finger and waving the sword and be like Saul and start chopping off heads.
Mhm.
Right.
It's like,
And on the same note though, even though like when we look at the lukewarm walk,
mhm,
we're not meant to judge that person. We're meant to bring them in and
right.
to embrace them. But
Yeah.
as a Christian who is supposed to be founded in your faith,
Mhm,
it doesn't mean that you entertain and fraternize with that person on a certain level. It doesn't mean you
right.
don't entertain with them, but
Yeah.
you're supposed to be living your walk in such a way that you are now an inspiration and discipling
Yeah.
that
Mhm,
person to show
yeah.
them what it looks like to be a Christian. So we can't just stand there and point the finger and say they're bad. But now if we flip the script and we're not pointing the finger and saying, okay, we love them, we bring them in, but your behavior is still not a representative of what a Christian walk is supposed to look like.
Right.
Stop worrying about the finger. Like like you said, turn that finger around, point it back at yourself, and check
Mhm,
yourself on your walk. Where are the gaps? Doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that everyone has gaps, because if we didn't have them, we'd be perfect and we wouldn't need God.
Well, that's just it.
So just
And
like, where are my gaps that I am aware
right.
of? Because we're gonna have so many gaps we're not even aware of. Let's
Yeah.
just practicing on the ones we
Yeah.
have become aware of. Let's point the
Right.
finger back at ourselves and say, "Yo, tell the brother out there, hey, I'm so glad to see you here at church today." That's it.
Right.
You don't know
Yeah.
what that could do to change his whole day, his
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
trajectory.
Yeah. I mean,
And now when he is befriending you, or maybe he's going to connect with you, or he recognizes you, or he just notices you going forward, he sees that the way that you walk inspires him to recognize how important leading
facts.
into his faith is going to be, because it's going to grow him and change him into the kind of person that he sees you operating as a true follower of
Yeah.
Christ.
Right.
Well,
And even that, a true follower of Christ is gonna slip up. Ask Peter.
Oh, definitely.
Ask Peter, right? And he still went on to do
Mhm.
great works. He still went on to do great works, but
Excellent.
yeah, made mistakes like anyone would.
And
Mhm.
there's one thing I told you before, Yusef, about how, like, a lot of people, a lot of us, we tend to like claim the label Christian, but there was a phrase I heard from someone before where they said, everyone wants to be a Christian until it gets biblical, and so
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
and just hearing that just reminds me that even though people may say that they're Christian, but you gotta look at their lifestyle, like how they walk, how they
Yeah.
talk, like are they living it?
Hmm.
And I could say for myself, like there's a lot of times where it's like, yeah, I tend to look at people and look at their lifestyles and like tend to be quick to judge, but that conviction always comes
Hmm.
and points the finger back at me. So
Like a
yeah.
boomerang.
Mm.
Like a boomerang.
I love that image of the boomerang. Boom.
And he never catches, just hits you right in the face. Uh, I'm finding more and more these days that when I actually talk with anyone, a lot of stuff I talk about is self-conviction as well. It reflects back on me. I was just talking to a brother yesterday, and we're talking about, marital stuff and whatnot. And I realized stuff he's saying, it's like everything he's saying is pointing back to when I was in that same space or when I was just in a situation. And it doesn't mean I wasn't listening to him. I definitely was. I was just realizing that if you don't see the reflection in your life as well, you do get on
Mm.
your high horse. You can accidentally start
Oh,
talking as
for
if,
sure.
you know better. And it's like, no, if you knew better, you would have done better. If you have the exact same example as this person talking, then you're in the same boat.
Mm.
And whether you're no longer in it
Yes.
now or you're still in it, that doesn't really matter. It's the fact that you have been in it.
Right.
And that alone is
Right.
supposed to be where we start giving grace. So,
It's so true.
I mean, this is more than obviously in lukewarm walking. This is a lot about letting God do the work within you, because He'll fix you
Yeah.
before He fixes anyone else.
Right.
If you see someone doing something that is like not biblical or kind of rubs you the wrong way spiritually, whatnot, do a self check.
Mm.
Do a self check
It's
before you
true.
decide to go up to that person and say anything, because a lot of times God is speaking to you first. When He does talk to you about someone else, it's to go help them.
Yes. It's interesting. I want to grab onto what you said there about the self-check.
Mm-hmm.
I said this to you guys actually earlier, but I'm going to reiterate that piece. I was like last week years old when I just fully understood discipleship. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I've been a Christian my whole life. I've grown up in the church. Of course, I had those moments where I walked away and I wasn't
Yeah.
really
Well,
connected to the church in a personal relationship or in my attendance. Um, but it's interesting because I think that when we're doing a self evaluation, do we even know how and what to be evaluating? And I say that to say, at this big old age of mine, to not fully understand what discipleship meant, I finally had to
Mm-hmm.
go really look it up and really understand what is the context of being discipled. And I
Yeah.
had a little blurb that I had wanted to share, but I don't have it with me right now. But essentially, the context was looking for someone who is modeling the life of Christ, preferably someone who is in a leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just genuinely isn't a position to be even leading someone.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think that that's an area where a lot of churches have failed at. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some churches doing this extremely well. I've seen them
Mm-hmm.
with my own 2 eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But I recognized the gap when I understood what discipleship was, because I realized so many places are
Yeah.
baptizing people. They're saying, "We really want you to come to God. We want you to dedicate your life to God." And people are
Mm-hmm.
making that decision. They're getting baptized, and then silence,
Ghosted.
radio silence. And I know
Ghosted.
that that was a part of my own journey, so I'm very sensitive to that for people. And so I'm also very aware of that within the communities of churches around me. And so now I'm really starting to be intentional. Obviously, it's only been about a week since I really had that revelation for myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm being really intentional now to look around me and see where are the gaps in our Christian community, because that is a part of our calling and mission, is to bring people to Christ. But if there's gaps in the system, as a Christian, it's our duty to now figure out how can we support filling in those gaps.
Fill that gap.
And
Exactly.
even if we can't fill it ourselves, can we be an advocate for
Mm-hmm.
for the institutions who can fill those gaps to now step up
Right.
and be better
Mhm.
and do better? So when I'm checking myself, I'm just going back to what you said about checking myself and that checklist. How do
Mm-hmm.
I even know what that checklist is when I haven't been properly taught? You can't expect a plumber to become a plumber when they haven't gone through 3 years of schooling and then an
Very true.
apprenticeship to become a plumber. You can't expect the same thing from an electrician,
Yeah.
from an engineer, from a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
anyone. But yet all of a sudden we're expected to come to Christ and have this baptism and magically we know how to do the walk. When
And who
people like
expects that?
myself have right, and when people like myself who've grown up in the church our whole lives don't actually understand it fully. So when we're going back to that self-check, it's like, I really think that we need to be huge advocates out there, as Christians who have walked through this walk ourselves of being baptized and clueless, and saying,
Mm-hmm.
not only do I thirst for knowledge myself, I thirst for wisdom myself. I long after you, Lord. I want to be obedient in my walk with you. But what does true obedience look like? Let me find a space that will teach me, or guide me on what obedience looks like,
Mm.
and get some
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
supports.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
good.
Well
Yeah.
said. Well said. But you see, and that's how. So pretty much, you came to this revelation came to you, but it's also a conviction at the same time. And you see
Definitely.
how it was just told to us. That's how we should be bringing the message to other
Yeah.
people.
Mm.
When we bring it on our point of view of how it has affected us, people can
Yeah.
then put themselves in that same position to see how it affects them, as opposed to us
Right.
going to them and telling them, "Hey, you should be doing,"
Mhm.
right?
Right.
You don't understand discipleship. I do, and like that's
That's not the
Ooh.
direction
for
to come
some
from.
no, for some reason when people get the I was gonna say the logo, the monarch of Christianity, they want to go running out, but they all of a sudden they all want to be scholars
Yeah,
Mhm.
right off the bat.
it's
Like
true.
what Wesley will tell you, I am not trying to be a leader.
Same here.
Hold on.
I've
Can you
I've an,
please say that with your full chest?
listen, man, I'm not trying to be. If God says otherwise, that's fine. But me volunteer that stuff? Nah, man. I don't mind giving my two
Yeah.
cents and
Yeah,
taking the lead on a question, but
yeah.
to have that
Yeah.
title, that's a lot of weight.
It is
That's
a
Yeah.
lot
a
of
lot of
A
weight.
weight.
lot of pressure.
So who knows? I let God work on me with that. But as far as what you just did, that's exactly the example of how we're supposed to talk with each other
Mhm. Yeah,
and explain what convictions we had or what revelations we had or what lesson we learned from, like, that's how
right.
it's supposed to be, sharing the
Uh,
gospel.
Mhm.
That's what it's supposed to be like. And I don't know, I don't know where the word perfection came across with Christianity.
Mm.
Again, nothing that Jesus ever
mhm.
said.
Right.
So this morning I was reading the New Testament, and I was responding to something that was written that said, if it's not in red, it's not for me. I'm like, I was saying it, facetiously. I was just joking around. But at the end of the day, though, it's like, really and truly, you gotta, if it's not in red, it's in the
Mhm.
Bible, but it's not
Yeah.
that biblical. It's in the Bible as in it was an eyewitness. It's what took place. But not everything that was in the Bible is supposed to be carried to the T. We have to recognize the
Right.
time it was done in. Like we're
Right.
reading on Timothy right now,
Yeah.
and man, Timothy dropped one. And that one that he dropped is what verse everyone's been running off of for how many hundreds of years. The one on how women should be seen in the
for those who
church.
are not.
Reading the Bible? All right. So to paraphrase, he's the one that dropped the pretty much what everyone's taking as women should not be preachers, should not be pastors, should not be leading men.
Right.
And no one took it as to, one, it wasn't in red, so Jesus never told us that. Two, it was never written on a tablet, so it's not one of the 10 Commandments. They never take the fact that, and I'm just seeing that now more often at podcasts as they're talking about it more, but you have to look at what the times were then. And there's gonna be things that are gonna be said that makes no sense. So, anyways, two of the authors are speaking on it right now. Two of the hosts that I'm listening to through the Word, and they're explaining pretty much what he broke down. And he's encouraging that women are to submit themselves. Didn't say to man, but for some reason, other man took that. That's said somewhere else, not in that particular scripture. And they broke it down as Timothy's point of view, which is cool. And I was like, okay, that makes a little more sense as to what he's saying based on the times it was. But he also made a mention of Adam and Eve and saying it was Eve's fault that did the sin. I'm like, whoa. See? Again, it wasn't in red. And this is what people have pretty much been chasing people after. I've heard a man on a call-in say that he either broke up with his girlfriend or this is the reason why he couldn't be with her anymore because they had a difference of opinion on the whole women in church thing. And I'm like, you made something like that from some guy in the Bible. And I'm not saying, listen, Timothy's done more work than I'll ever do.
Right.
But
Fair.
who said Timothy was going to be perfect?
Thank you.
Right? So here we go again, running on, it falls back to what is really in
And
you.
one of the brothers in our group,
this is why we're going into convictions.
Of how, where Timothy was coming from. Because, of course, Timothy, when he was explaining it, he was not coming from a malicious place. He was just coming from a place where how women were back. Yeah, reflective of time.
Reflective of the time.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. But then look at all the people that took advantage of that later on. Just took full advantage of it and just started spewing this. And I have to say foolishness because it really, if you stop, God gives you common sense.
Yes.
So if men are going to war from the beginning of time, and if majority of men are wiped out and there's a majority of women, no one's supposed to teach the word of God. They're supposed to sit there and just hope that one of these guys is wise enough to teach them. Really?
And I like that analogy. That's true.
It's just, but because of sign of times, it was pretty much, this is advantageous to us. So we'll go with that. It sounds like this and it benefits me. So we'll go with that.
But even in what you just said, that's why it's so important for us to learn the scriptures ourselves.
You do, because when you read it, he will convict you on it. And if you seek something that you're not sure of, he'll show you other scriptures that back it up.
Yeah.
In fact, 2 chapters later, Paul straightens it out.
And the scriptures are so dense. There's so much richness in the scriptures that it will take you literally a lifetime of reading to fully understand. So which is why we are supposed to be submersed in our word daily. It's a daily exercise. You talked about the gentleman in your group who's been in the military and he has a level of discipline. And as people of God, as children of God, we need to develop that discipline for ourselves because there's no one who has to beg us to go pick up our phone and go scroll Instagram. There's no one, hopefully at this point in our lives, there's no one begging us to get up and go brush our teeth. There's just certain things that I said hopefully.
Please brush your teeth. Please.
I said hopefully.
Before you say another word, please.
No promises. No promises. I said hopefully.
Oh my God.
But the point is, we're hoping. No one has to tell us to get up and go eat. Half the times we're gluttonous. We're in the fridge 16 times a day.
More than you need to be, correct? Yeah.
But and I'm guilty of this. So this is not me pointing a finger. It's like, I can go to this fridge 16 times a day, but if you ask me to go to my word 16 times a day, what would I say?
Why?
Would I not say I don't have time for that? But yet I fully found time to open the fridge. If it took me a minute to open the fridge, look through it, just be gluttonous, whether I got something or I didn't get something, that was a minute I could have spent in prayer. It doesn't even mean I need to go to the scriptures. It was a minute I could have spent in prayer. It was a minute I could have spent in the word. And I
It's
say that
true.
from a genuine place of not just saying that for the podcast, not just saying that
Yeah.
for the sake of the context of this conversation. I genuinely
Yeah,
have these
yeah.
conversations with myself
Mm-hmm.
about my routines and why is it okay, Michelle, that you haven't spent X amount of time in the word today? Why
Right.
was that okay? Because what did you actually do today, Michelle? Because you'll lie to yourself enough times, Michelle, to tell yourself, make yourself believe you really
Easily.
didn't have the time for it today. But if I really
Easily.
want to go check it, if I really want to clock it, Michelle, the whole time that you're on the train to work, you were listening to gospel, yes, but you
Yeah.
could, and your excuse was that your Bible app doesn't like I like to listen to my Bible app, like the audio, listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm on the train in the tunnel, I can't listen to it because it doesn't connect to the network.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're telling me, Michelle, you didn't have two eyes? If it was a gossip column, you would have read that whole gossip column while you had no reception. But yet, for some reason, you couldn't get to reading First Samuel.
Tell
Like,
on yourself. Tell on yourself.
so I say that to
It's
say
true.
like that daily checking myself and the daily
Very well.
conviction of girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
it
No, you're right.
together. And it
You're
doesn't
right.
mean the next day I'm excellent. It doesn't even mean the day after I'm excellent. It doesn't even mean the
Mm-hmm.
day after I'm operating in excellence. But through being intentional about consistently allowing myself to check myself,
Yeah.
it changes me. So maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in 4 months from now, I will notice the difference because I
Right.
allowed myself to intentionally check myself multiple times 4
Mm-hmm.
months prior. So
Yeah.
where I'm at 4 months later, now I'm going to keep checking myself. And where am I going to be 6 months after that? And after
Right.
that, and after that. But there's a level of intentional checking that as Christians we have to do, or we will always stay lukewarm.
This
I
is
am
it.
in such, I love this topic because I am in that season of lukewarm
Mm.
because I was on fire when I felt God calling me into consecration to spend some time with him. I was on fire and I came out of that still with a level of fire. And I didn't notice, and has happened multiple times in my life before. I didn't notice when the fire
That
started to
drift.
go out.
Yes.
So now I have to be intentional about
The
stoking that
drift.
fire. Yes, I'm being intentional about stoking that fire daily, and it's not cute. It doesn't mean I get a full flame every day. But I'm
No, that's all
intentional about
facts.
stoking it and calling myself out. And if I stoked it today and I called myself out, but I didn't do anything about it, I still have to call myself out tomorrow
Yeah.
and the day
Yeah.
after.
The self-checking is really a checking with God.
Which is also why we need community, because we need a community who checks us and doesn't, when we say to our community, whoever our first circle is, when we say to them, girl, or yo, bro, I did not do any of my readings that I was supposed to be doing for the last 4 days. I have 500 pieces for why, and they're all legit. And they're all legit. And for your friend needs to not be able to look at you and say, I understand. I go through that all the time. They say, I understand. We're right here. We're about to talk smack for the next hour. How about we submit to some prayer, read a scripture or two right now?
Right.
And how about we create some accountability for ourselves over
You
the
hear that,
next
Wesley?
week?
You hear that?
And that's what our
Hold a foot
community
to the fire, bro. Don't let me get
that's
away
what
with
our
nothing.
community that's what our community needs to check us and look like, because if we were in a community of friends who are becoming engineers and we all want to ace a particular
Right.
exam, they would have called us to the standard and be like, yo, we're all trying to pass this exam on with intention. So it's okay
Yeah.
that you had a bad few days, but since we're here chilling right now, how about we pull out our
Put in
textbooks
the
and go
work.
review chapter 6?
Yep. Let's put in the work. Let's
We
hold each
wouldn't
other
have questioned
accountable.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a dancer, like you're a professional dancer, and I'm not talking the kind of dancer y'all dirty-minded people be defaulting to right
I
now.
didn't even remember about that kind of stuff. My gosh.
But I'm saying, like, if you're a professional ballet dancer, hip hop dancer, whatever it is you're doing, and you're sitting with your community, and I emphasize the community because the people around you are going to be should be like-minded.
That's
So
what
your
people do.
friends should be like-minded.
Yes, they hang out with that
Your
easily.
circles should be like-minded. If you're in the dance community, your dance partners would pull up and say, yo, let's just throw on a song right now and practice a routine right now. We as Christians need to move from that lukewarmness into building intentional communities around ourselves where we have the conversations of accountability. Same thing when you're in a marriage. You have friends who are married around you and who are keeping themselves accountable within their marriage, so that when you're looking for counsel from a friend, your friend is operating in the way they should be,
In a
at
healthy
least
marriage.
aiming to,
Definitely.
aiming to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
and that they can be of wise counsel to you.
Right. I was gonna point out that, pretty much there's a lukewarm community as well. They would literally hang out with each other. I remember being a newbie many moons ago, and the one guy that I used to see eye to eye with was just like me, 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
That's the most dangerous.
And so we see each other in church, we're like, yo, what's going on, man? And we were thinking, yo, where you going tonight? What's popping tomorrow night? And that was it. And it's funny enough, I saw him many years later, and he still feels like he's got that same energy. It's like, oh man,
Yeah.
to be in that spot. But again, it's not to judge. It's like,
No.
if you don't have other people around you, that are walking the way you would like to walk.
Right.
Like you pointed out, a juggler is not going to hang out with a scientist if he doesn't want to be a scientist. He's gonna be like, we have nothing in common.
Yeah.
You're not reflecting my lifestyle. I want. It's we choose these things intentionally, and then a lot of times we don't think. Like, a lot of people have ratchet people around them. They don't seem to realize it. It's just a reflection of you, actually.
Yes, it is. That's why you've got to keep your own standards so high, because if you keep your own standards high, you will attract others who are half lukewarm and half 1 foot in and half 1 foot out.
Yeah.
But the more you keep your standards high, those people will naturally drop off, whether you try to have them drop off or not. Because your standard will be too difficult for them, too high for them. Your vibration is not the vibration that they're on, and they will naturally drop off. And you need that, because the ones that you need to connect with now will be drawn to you. The Holy Spirit will align who needs to be aligned with you.
Exactly.
He's going to align you where you're at.
I was going to say, God is in the natural. That's how people drop off naturally. Without any effort at all. It's like, oh man, we haven't spoken in 3-4 months.
Yes.
Wow. And it's no animosity, nothing bad happened at all whatsoever. It just faded.
Yeah.
And that's when you walk with him, he puts you on a different path altogether. But while you're on a different path, things are going good. Don't turn around and look at other people and start trying to figure out how come you're not doing the same thing. They have a completely different walk for a different reason. God has another plan for them, and he'll get to them when they decide to listen.
And to go back to the community part that you were talking about, Michelle, that's another reason why we can't point the finger at people, because just the community that me and Yusuf are in, it's filled with guys that are on different paths, and some are further than others, but we're all trying to accomplish the same goal. And just hearing people's testimonies, that's the power of the community, is just hearing people's testimonies of where they've been, what they've gone through, and it just reminds you.
That's right. It brings you back. That's what it's there for. Like, if you're ahead of someone, and I quote unquote the term ahead of someone, because who could judge that, right? But at the end of the day, when someone who's just getting in, or someone who's having struggles, it's your opportunity to see that you were once there and how good God has been to you. And now it's your opportunity to show grace, the same grace that God has shown you. Like, it's your opportunity to do the things now because you're renewed. And then when you don't do those things, it's a reflection of where you're actually at compared to where you think you are. You thought you're ahead, but the truth is, here you are, jumping on this person for something that you did much longer, much harder.
You're preaching to the choir right now. I'm putting myself on blast.
Oh boy.
I'm putting myself on blast.
Tell yourself.
It's always juicy when I put myself on blast, isn't it?
I think it's a bigger testimony when we put ourselves on blast.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's
Those ones that
fair.
counts. Those
It's
ones
more
that really
relatable.
count.
That's fair.
Right?
Well, I'm hoping that this blesses someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're right. The relatability factor. I hope this one blesses someone. But I was just faced with that challenge over the last 2 days. Because obviously, as I'm being more intentional with my walk of obedience, the world is still there. The world's not gone anywhere.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
I've been more intentional about saying yes to things that are going to refill my bucket, like taking time to go to the spa, taking time to go to the physiotherapist, doing things that are gonna, refill me. And so my coworker and I decided we're gonna do a little getaway for 1 day, in October. And oh, wonderful. Well, a day or two ago, I see a poster for a secular artist that I absolutely love that's gonna be
Who?
a secular artist who's going to be in town, like just outside of where we're going out of town for this little retreat,
Yeah.
a few hours out of town. And this secular artist is going to be right around the corner out of town the very
Oh
next day.
no. Oh
So
no.
the first and I emphasize instinct because I didn't think twice about this. I was like, yo, I reached out the person who had the flyer. I reached out, I was like, yo, are you going? Are you staying at a hotel? Are you going to stay with your family? Like, yo, link me. Let's discuss like making plans
Oh my
to go to
gosh.
this event. And without there was no hesitation. God was not on my mind when I said that.
Mhm. Oh wow. Oh wow.
And she hasn't
That's real.
responded to me yet. Thank you, God. Thank you, Holy Spirit, because it gave me time to be like, Michelle, you said that you're going to do things that are in alignment with where you are going and not in
Mhm.
alignment with where you've been.
Mhm.
Is this event in alignment with where you're going?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know the answer is an absolute no.
Exactly. That is
Yeah,
not
you're
that's
still and I had already mentioned this event now to my coworker who she's not interested in going to this, but it was an excuse for us to now get a hotel, stay later than we wanted
right.
to, like do some extra stuff. And so she's encouraging me, yeah, when you make your plans, let me know so now we can do the and hear me now. Oh yeah, I'm getting all excited. And I'm like, Michelle, you checked yourself once on this before already. Is this even in alignment with where you're going? You know the answer is a glaring no. So now I'm sitting here with
Usher's not part of that plan, so
I think this artist is just as bad or worse than Usher.
oh my gosh. I'm like R.
Why
Kelly's
you
in
make
jail, so
why
it's
you
not
know?
him. I'm like, see. I forgot who this second artist is because there's so much of them. It can't be
It's a
Future.
it's a cultural one. It's a
So
it's
wait.
it's
Oh,
an
okay,
islander one.
okay. That's even worse. That's why you didn't think twice about it. That's why
You're right about
it
that.
struck home.
Yes, it struck home like this artist coming to town. This is like a rarity. So then I had to
Mhm.
check myself last night again before I'm going to bed. I'm like, Michelle, your heart is like gung ho and moving towards making the arrangements, going to check
Yeah.
the hotel, the tickets, the this and that. And you know this is not in alignment with where you are going. That requires me to now have to say no to the person I already reached out to.
Mhm.
That requires me to now decide I can still do the hotel overnight and like whatever because it was in alignment with what I'm doing for taking care of myself. But now I have to say, am I doing all that extra still for myself? Or am I really just
Mhm.
trying to see if I can sneak in that other piece? Like I have to check my own intention,
Yeah. Yeah. And listen,
right?
and
And
don't
on
don't
top
not
of
buy a
that
ticket
too.
and then hang out outside. Don't hang out outside the
Right.
venue either.
Exactly.
Like it's the same thing.
Exactly.
I didn't buy a
So I
ticket, but
say that to say I'm putting myself on blast because just because people will see us walking a certain walk, it doesn't mean that we don't struggle with the
exactly.
intentionality of that walk. It's a constant struggle. And because of the fact that I struggled so much in that moment, I've made a decision that I think, Michelle, it's time to take a moment and just, have a weekend with God. So
Mm.
the next 3 days, I just decided I'm just gonna spend some time alone with God. Because whenever I feel myself wavering on anything, I realize it's because you're not close enough to
Yeah.
your your
Yeah.
creator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime that you're so comfortable with making those kind of decisions and not even thinking, because you should have had some level of conviction. I had none.
Wow.
Mm. None
I had
whatsoever.
none.
You already
My
had
old
2 outfits
ways.
out.
What? Listen,
You're ready to go.
Yusuf, let me tell you, I'm not even an outfit kind of person. I'm like, I'll figure it out. I already thought of outfits too. See,
Oh
you
my
said it.
gosh.
But
Oh my
that's
gosh.
Satan moving. That is Satan
Wow.
seeing where is her
Yeah.
weaknesses? Where is her gaps? Is
The
she truly
yeah.
convicted enough? Because if she's not, I've got her still.
The conviction is proof of the seed, right? So we still have certain things in
Yes.
us. So we just gotta make sure we
Yes.
starve it. Like and when those temptations come up, that's watering the temptation. That's
Yes.
watering that seed. So when you can do
Yes.
an early no, the
Yeah.
seed dies a little bit more. I noticed that.
You're
The more you
so
say
correct.
no,
Thank you
the,
for saying that.
the quicker you say no, the less watering that seed gets, the less it becomes
Mm.
something that the enemy can use.
You need
Right?
you need to say that again louder for the people in the back. That was real.
Listen, starve that seed. The sooner you say no, the sooner it'll start getting watered and it won't grow.
Wow.
And the enemy can't use it against you.
Thank
But
you.
honestly, in reverse, when we say yes to God, that seed gets watered, and saying yes
Wow.
becomes more of a frequent thing and much easier. It's
Wow.
so simple sometimes, like, how come we're
Wow.
not getting this?
Yeah.
And then this is where I get on my high horse, start wondering, how come you guys aren't understanding this? Like, get down, you still. Soapbox is not for you. Step down. It's like, well, you know this sometimes though, I gotta admit, it's not just judging or wagging my finger. It's like you don't want to see people go through the same bull crap he went through. And so sometimes you get a little overly overzealous, a little overly passionate. And instead of telling them the grace away, you end up telling like, it's right there. Just do it. And it's like, no, it's not that simple. People gotta have time, and
patience.
Thank God that God has all the time.
Yeah.
We may not, but he has patience.
Yeah.
So,
and grace. Oh,
Mhm.
grace.
Oh, and grace. And last thing is that without him being like that, I mean, we're pretty much saying that we don't trust him. So when we're pushing people through our convictions, we're saying that, God, I got this. Now that you told me, I got this.
It's true.
That's not the way
Yeah.
he works.
It's true.
So yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna just say this one last thing. But I was gonna say what you were saying, it goes along the lines of us being our own, like we're just being the ones in our own way. You know, it's not even we can, give the devil all the credit anymore, because he put the seed.
Yeah.
But like you said, we're watering the seed. And so now the devil don't even have to do anything anymore. We're just watering it and just doing our own temptations, like going into our own temptations. And so that's where it comes into like us having to have that self-reflection on ourselves and learning to not make excuses, but know that we can do better, like with the example that you were giving, Michelle, how you didn't feel no conviction at all, but then later on you had that conviction and you started to sit back and be self-aware, like, okay, I need to stop this, and you chose a different route.
Yeah.
Listen, on that last note, the devil can only offer. We have to accept. He didn't shove the apple down Eve's throat. He didn't force it in Adam's hand. Offered. So the rest was up to us. So for every time that we agree with the offer, it gives him room into our space that way.
Wow. So true.
On that somewhat positive note.
Yeah. That's a very positive note. I have to say that you both just blessed me with that word right there. So thank you both.
So no concert.
No, I blessed all of us.
No concert, Michelle. What night is this? I can check on you.
I'm going to stay accountable to you and let you know. I think it is in October 17th or 18th or something.
All
so
right.
yes, you
I'll
can
be
check
checking
in
your
on
area.
me.
I will. I'm like, where you at? Like, video call. I want to see video call.
Did I say September? I meant October. Yeah, October. So yes. And I'm not even saying this in a joking manner. We really do. These are the things we really do need to do within our community. And even I think a part of my conviction was that one of my friends that I've recently built within my community of intention, she has been checking me on my intentionality for certain things. And I was like, now I got to come back and tell her where I'm about to go.
Yeah.
You know what? Even though this is really for God, this is my relationship with God.
Yeah.
Having that accountability partner,
it's important. Helps. It's important.
Yeah,
it's important because, like, it's the Holy Spirit.
We operate from shame and pride. I'm too prideful and shame. I don't want to check into my shame to tell her, girl, listen, I know you told me to check my convictions on this, but I'm gonna go to this. No, I'm not having that conversation.
Oh my gosh.
Let me check myself.
Like, where'd you wake up this morning and walk of shame, girl? All right, we out. We out. Thank you, everyone who's listened to this episode. We appreciate you listening and tuning in. If you have any questions at all or any suggestions, hit us up at info@baptized&Clueless.com. That's A&B, not the symbol. Baptized&Clueless.com, and we'll be happy to respond to you. Take care, everyone.
Yes, take care.
Bless.